In the quiet hours of a November evening in 1971, a man named Dan D.B. Cooper embarked on a journey that would turn him into a legend. It was the eve of Thanksgiving, and little did anyone know that this unassuming man, dressed in a dark suit and tie, would become a household name. Dan Cooper arrived at Portland International Airport around 4:00 p.m. that fateful day. He purchased a one-way ticket to Seattle-Tacoma Airport for a mere $20, taking his seat, 18C, on a 4:35 p.m. flight. The plane held 36 passengers, along with Captain William Scott, First Officer Bob Ratachek, Flight Engineer H.E. Anderson, and two flight attendants, Tina Mucklow and Florence Schaffner. Dan Cooper's unremarkable appearance and behavior didn't arouse any suspicion during boarding. However, as the plane took to the skies, he handed a note to Florence Schaffner. At the time, passengers often passed notes with phone numbers or hotel details to flight attendants, so she slipped it into her pocket without much thought. It was only when Cooper gestured for her to read it that she realized the situation had taken a sinister turn. Welcome back once again to Docutainment's videos. The note, with its handwritten ink, demanded $200,000 in cash and 2 sets of parachutes. Cooper made it clear that these items had to be waiting for him upon landing at Seattle-Tacoma Airport. He warned that he had a bomb, nodding towards his suspicious suitcase. The message was clear: comply with his demands, or he would blow up the plane. The note contained the chilling phrase, "No funny business." Cooper then shifted to a window seat, allowing Schaffner to sit in his aisle seat. He opened his suitcase slightly, revealing wires and 2 mysterious cylinders, possibly dynamite sticks. Schaffner rushed to the cockpit to share the alarming note with the pilot, Captain Scott. The authorities were alerted through a series of calls, and the FBI's involvement was swift. The airline's president, Donald Naira, advised cooperation to prevent negative publicity. Despite the risk, Cooper had Schaffner return the note to him to avoid leaving incriminating evidence. This meant that the exact wording of the note remains a mystery. Schaffner and her colleague, however, remembered the key details: $200,000 in cash, 2 sets of parachutes, and the ominous threat. Cooper's requests for the money were remarkably precise. He demanded the $200,000 in $20 bills, which would weigh approximately 21 pounds. He understood that using smaller bills would add weight, possibly endangering his skydive. Larger bills were lighter but harder to handle. The FBI complied with the request, providing random serial-numbered bills, starting with the code letter L. Getting the parachutes proved challenging, though. Cooper refused military parachutes, insisting on civilian ones with user-operated ripcords. After some effort, Seattle police managed to obtain 4 parachutes from the owner of a skydiving school. Cooper's note didn't explicitly reveal his skydiving plan, but his demands pointed to that assumption. He had asked for an extra parachute, suggesting he might take a hostage with him during his escape, while they considered using dummy parachutes for the exchange. The risk to a civilian's life was too great. As the ground team assembled the cash and parachutes, Cooper ordered the plane to taxi to a remote, well-lit area upon landing. He dimmed the cabin lights and forbade any approaching vehicles. He also demanded that the person delivering the cash and parachutes come alone. A Northwest Airline employee approached the plane in a company vehicle. Cooper ordered flight attendant Tina Mucklow to lower the stairs. The employee passed 2 parachutes at a time to Mucklow and handed over the cash in a large bank bag. Once his demands were met, Cooper released the 36 passengers and flight attendant Florence Schaffner. However, he did not release Tina Mucklow or the 3 men in the cockpit. A Federal Aviation Administration official requested permission to board the jet, seemingly to warn Cooper about the risks of air piracy. Cooper denied the request and instead had Mucklow familiarize herself with the instructions for operating the aft stairs. When he questioned her, she wrongly believed they couldn't be lowered during flight, to which Cooper corrected her. Cooper had meticulously chosen this particular flight, not just for its route, but also for the type of jet. a Boeing 727-100. He possessed extensive knowledge about the aircraft. Cooper ordered the pilot to stay below 10,000 feet and maintain airspeed below 150 knots. These conditions were favorable for an experienced skydiver, and the jet's design allowed for safe flight at such low speeds. Cooper informed the crew of his desire to reach Mexico City, but the pilot explained that the jet couldn't travel far at the altitude and airspeed he requested. They agreed to make a refueling stop in Reno, Nevada. Before departing from Seattle, Cooper ordered the jet to be refueled. He knew the Boeing 727-100 could take in 4,000 gallons of fuel a minute. When the refueling process took longer than expected, he demanded an explanation, prompting the fuel crew to complete the task. The jet took off at 7:46 p.m., and Cooper asked the crew to depressurize the cabin, ensuring a smooth exit at 10,000 feet. After finalizing the flight details, Cooper ordered the flight attendant and crew to remain in the cockpit, as there were no peepholes or cameras in place to monitor his activities. At 8 p.m., a red light signaled that a door was open. Captain Scott asked Cooper if there was anything he needed, receiving a curt no in response. This was the last communication with Dan Cooper. At 8:24 p.m., the jet experienced a subtle dip 25 miles north of Portland, near the Lewis River. The crew assumed the aft stairs had been lowered, and Cooper had likely jumped. However, they dared not confirm their assumption, adhering to Cooper's orders. By 10:15 p.m., the jet landed in Reno, Nevada. Captain Scott, concerned by the silence, opened the cockpit door to find the cabin empty. Cooper, along with the money and his belongings, had vanished, leaving only the second parachute behind. Subsequent investigations failed to ascertain whether Cooper survived his daring leap. The police attempted to track the plane during a hijacking, but the severe weather prevented a timely search. They launched an extensive investigation, but it yielded no trace of the hijacker or the parachute. Over the years, many individuals claimed to be Dan Cooper, but none matched the unknown prints collected from the hijacked plane. In 2011, Marla Cooper suggested that her uncle, L.D. Cooper, was the real D.B. Cooper. Her account was supported by a flight attendant who saw similarities between L.D. Cooper and the hijacker. However, authorities remained skeptical. In 2016, the FBI officially halted its active resources for the D.B. Cooper investigation, with the leading theory suggesting that he did not survive his jump. His knowledge of the plane's systems initially led to the belief that he was a professional skydiver, but experts concluded that the jump under such harsh weather conditions, wearing business attire, was too risky. The discovery of matching ransom money along the Columbia River added weight to the theory that Cooper did not survive. Despite 45 years of tips and theories, the true identity of America's most famous hijacker remains a mystery, leaving behind a legacy of intrigue and fascination that endures to this day. I hope you like, subscribe, and share this video of Docutainment. Thank you so much for your kind comments. See you in the next awesome video.